Hey guys, it's Ms. Freight. Welcome to our first flip video of the school year. Our flip video today is going to be on MEL-Con paragraphs. Hopefully this is something you've already learned in your classes last year, but if you haven't, this will give you the basics, and if you have, this can be a good review. So what exactly is a MEL-Con paragraph? Basically, a MEL-Con paragraph is an easy way for you to remember the important steps for writing a strong body paragraph. Right now, we're just going to be working in single paragraphs. So you're going to get one question and you're going to respond to it using 4 to 5 sentences. Once we get later on in the year, though, you're going to be making multiple MEL-Con paragraphs that will make up a full essay. A MEL-Con paragraph is only used for persuasive writing, which is writing that you use when you are trying to prove an argument. So if you're writing a story or a poem, you won't be using MEL-Con writing. MEL-Con stands for Main Claim, Evidence, Link, and Concluding Statement. The M is for main claim. Your main claim is your basic argument in your paragraph. We call this a claim, or in essays, a thesis, but both of those mean the same thing. It's the argument that you're trying to prove through your writing. Your main claim will answer the question being asked or state your opinion on a topic. Basically, your main claim is going to introduce what you're going to be arguing for the rest of your paragraph. It is very direct and to the point because it's important for the reader to know what you're going to be arguing. 3 important guidelines for main claim is that first, it should answer the question being asked in just one sentence. This is especially important for when you have just a single paragraph because it's important that the paragraph is very short and concise. If you start writing essays that are 20 to 30 to 40 pages long, then your main claim can be a little bit longer than a sentence, but for now, it should just fit into one. Even though you're answering a question, your main claim should not start with yes or no. So if the prompt is, do you think that Ms. Freight is the best teacher ever? You wouldn't say, yes, Ms. Freight is the best teacher ever. You would just say, Ms. Freight is the best teacher ever. And basically, your main claim should introduce the entire paragraph. So everything that you talk about in the rest of your paragraph should be introduced in the main claim. The E stands for evidence. These are the examples that you're going to give or the evidence you're providing to prove the main idea that you already stated. If you are writing about a book or some other text, like a poem, an article, or an essay, you want to use as many direct quotations as possible. Quotations are parts of the text that you take word for word. If you're not writing about a text, it can be observations, ideas, or reasons. So again, if we go back to that prompt, is Ms. Freight the best teacher ever? You could use observations or ideas that you have about me because obviously there's no text that tells you about what an awesome teacher I am. Three guidelines for using evidence. First, your evidence should always have a lead-in that introduces where the evidence comes from. So if a certain character says it or it comes from a certain section of the book, you should include that in your lead-in. Second, this evidence should only prove the main idea. Don't throw in quotes just because you think you need quotes. The quote should be relevant to the idea you're trying to prove. And your evidence should always be the strongest evidence available. Don't use a weak quote if there's a better one that's available to you. The L in MEL-Con stands for link. Basically, the link connects your main claim and your evidence to your own personal ideas. So this is basically the explanation of what you think. This is the most important part of your paragraph because it's the only part that shows your original ideas. 3 guidelines to explain how the evidence proves your claim. So you should have a claim at the beginning, followed by some evidence. And your link is going to say, this evidence proves what I was saying in the beginning because of blank. Your link is unique to you. It shows your thought processes. So it's really important that you put a lot of work into your link so that I can clearly understand what's going on in your head. The con stands for a conclusion or concluding statement. This is basically the wrap-up at the end of your paragraph. This is the last sentence of the paragraph, and it should give some closure to what you've been saying. Two guidelines for the conclusion is that it should be the last sentence and it should summarize your argument. So the strongest points that you've made in your paragraph should be repeated in your final sentence. You should also refer back to the pieces of evidence that you give, just to remind the reader of how strong your points were. Alright, well that's pretty much it for the MEL-Con video. Hopefully you guys learned a lot. If I went a little too fast or there are some things that you guys didn't understand, you should definitely watch the video again until you understand it. We will be working on this tomorrow in class, and you'll have an assignment due at the end of class. So it is in your best interest to make sure that you understand everything before coming to class tomorrow. Because I made you guys sit through a really boring MEL-Con video, I decided to answer a question from one of the surveys that I got. Hopefully that will make up for this boring video. So one of the questions on the survey was, do I have any pets? Unfortunately, my landlord does not allow us to have pets. But two of my best friends felt bad for me that I didn't get a pet, so they made me this pet. Ugh, isn't it cute? So this is Melvin. He's a pug, and he's my new pet. So yeah, alright. Now you guys know. That's all I have to say, and I will see you tomorrow in class. Bye.